all geared up. So today we have with us Femi Odelusi, very, very interesting individual, as you find out. Femi is a professional coach who not only helps individuals but teams and leadership and organization to optimize. He's successfully guided several organizations across sectors to successful transformation. And he has indeed a deep passion for working with leadership teams and individuals. He has some financial sector experience, very broadly, based out in the UK, Lloyds, Barclays, RBS. I mean, just name it. He's done it, and even in telcos with BT. Femi, as you will see very shortly, is a man of many credentials. ICF-ACC. He's a global practitioner with EMCC. He has an ORSC certification in organization and relationship systems coaching. He doesn't only do coaching, he has a Scrum Alliance certification as an agile coach. And then he has a certification with the International Consortium of Agile Certified Coaches. So, I mean, he's someone with really deep knowledge, and I think we are going to be benefiting from that today. So, I mean, so I don't spend the entire evening brandishing his accolades. I will hand over to Femi to take the floor and then do his thing. So Femi, you're welcome, and the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Can I just check that everyone can see my screen before I go any further?
Yes,
give me a thumbs up. And we're being recorded, and you can hear me clearly. My voice is audible enough. Thank you. What I'd like us to do is, as I said earlier on, such a rich, diverse collection of people that we've got here this evening, coaches, non-coaches, you name it. We're all over the world. We're in one big environment. And for me personally, I feel honored and privileged to have the opportunity to be in collaboration with you all this evening. So contrary to some of the previous experiences that we may have heard, I'm not here to speak to you. I'm not here to lecture you. We're here to collaborate and share experiences and learn from one another. And in so doing, I might just happen to be using some presentation slides, but we're also going to use some mirror activities just to get ourselves into some warm-up. So what I'd like us to do in the first instance is, I'm sharing my screen, but very soon I'm going to stop the screen share so that people can use their own screens. If we can grab a pin from the left and drag it to where you are, if you want, you can put your name, but you don't need to. We all know ourselves. So just drag a pin and drop it on a location where you are, anywhere in the world. And if we can spend 1 minute doing that, and the timer starts now. Thank you.
Me too.
So on the left, you've got some pins. So just grab one and drag it over. If it doesn't work, please create your own. AK, where are you? Let me drag one for you.
I wish I was in Cancun right now, but I'm in Nigeria.
Okay, I think someone else is driving apart from AK. Who else was that?
Chosen.
Tosin, are you driving?
Tosin is in Lagos as well. Thank you.
In Lagos as well. Thank you. Okay, let's drag. So if this was a competition, can we guess who's going to win? Which country is going to win?
Africa, or like the continents that will be Africa.
Absolutely. Africa, Lagos. And one of the things that inspired me with this icebreaker is the fact that this evening, our intention is to talk about the value of the coaching business in our environment. And, you know, when Dr. S and myself were talking about these, we had a challenge defining what environment is. Where's the environment? Is it where we are? Is it where our minds are? Or is it where our hearts are? So for that simple reason, we decided that it would be better just to think of the globe as our environment. And whatever happens in one country is likely to happen in a few other countries. I know Nigeria is unique, rich in its own experiences, but some of those experiences, it would be fair to say that they're broadly universal. So if we're done with that, I think I have another icebreaker. If I can summon everyone, here we're going to spend 2 minutes. And what we want to do is we're going to talk about, each person could just grab a sticky note. Just one point per person is fine. What excites you the most about your environment? So if I summon everyone to follow me. So we're here in this section here. So what we want to share thoughts on this time is, what is it that excites you the most about your environment? For some of us, it will be abula, an assorted meat, which I am missing dearly. And I hope when I come to Lagos, I will be taken to the best restaurant that serves concoction of, you know, variety of meals. Oh, I forgot to set my time. 2 minutes. So we stay on this lane for now, in number 2 box for now. Thank you. The warm people, the energy. I'm seeing lots of thought there.
Hi, Femi. I'm on a
Yes.
phone.
Okay.
I'm on a phone and not having luck.
Are you using your phone?
Yes.
Yeah, Miro doesn't work very well on a phone. If I can be
Okay.
I can be your scribe if you tell me. What would you like me to type?
Okay. When it comes to what? The environment.
Anything about your environment. What excites you the most?
What excites me the most? The people.
The people.
The
Thank you.
people. Different sorts of people.
Yeah.
We have a
Okay.
real mixed bag.
Yeah, we've got a few things. So we got Gloria's on the phone as well. Gloria, I can type for you as well. What would you like to say excites you the most about your environment? We've only got 20 seconds to go. It doesn't have to be perfect, like chapter and verse. Gloria?
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Okay.
My friends and family, I guess.
Friends and family. Thank you. Okay, that time is up. Thank you so much. So we've got quite a lot of interesting, diverse thinking here. We can see on the screen, we've got the opportunities to make a difference. That's very powerful and very apt for a coach. Fast pace, friends and family, the warm people. People seem to be the common theme. We've got 4 sticky notes with people, which is great. It tells us a lot about ourselves. We're people-oriented. We got the food. Wow, someone's got that in common with me. I love the food in Nigeria. And then, yeah, the one people. Yeah, now we got 5 for the one people. That's great. Okay, thank you so much for that. And one of the things that I would like to encourage us to do is hold on to these thoughts as we step through the evening, you know, about things that excite us about our environment. Now, what I want to do is invite us to another section. And this time, we're going to think. Now, initially, I thought I was going to say if you had 3 wishes, we wouldn't have time for 3 wishes. If you had one wish to change your environment, what will you change? So you got one wish, and you know what they say about wishes. What would you change? I'm going to set the timer again for 2 minutes. Gloria, did you want me to type? AK, did you want me to type?
Yes.
Okay, what would you
Clean
like?
up our election. Clean up
Sorry,
the election process.
Okay,
I
clean
can
up.
type it.
Oh, okay, you can type it. Okay. AK, are you there?
Yes, I am.
If you were to change one thing, what would you change?
I think it's something around justice, making sure justice is more maybe timely.
Okay.
Maybe more something around that.
Okay, that's powerful. Timeliness of justice. That's great. So we're beginning to build a picture here.
Thank you.
Clean, green, safe, and orderly. Someone said themselves, which is great. We always aim to be a better version of ourselves. I think, Tosin, you're driving as well. Did you want me to type?
Yes, sir. Thank you. For me, it will be
Okay.
a system that is fair and just.
Okay, fair and just system. Wow. We're beginning to see some common themes around fairness and justice. Is there anyone else? We've only got 1 second left. Wow, that's powerful. Anand, is there anything, Anand, sorry, I mispronounced your name. Was there anything that stood out for yourself, Anand?
Yeah, so, I had stated that it is myself, if at all I have to change.
Right, got it. That was you. Fantastic. Thank you very much. So again, we can see some themes that are emerging, and some of these, insights that we're gaining now will fall into place as we step into through the presentation. So for me, one keyword that I can hold on to from the question is the word change. Okay, how about we try one more thing? Again, actually, I'm going to make this 1 minute. You have one superpower that will help your coaching. What would that superpower be? Over to you. Very quick, very short, 1 minute.
Listening.
Oh, I was just about to type that. Who was that? Did you want me to type it or do you want to type?
Yeah, no, you can please. That's
Okay.
Tosin.
Tosin, listening.
David,
Wow.
not there are 2 Tosins here
Tosin
today.
D, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Listening. Okay. Got it.
Thank you.
Got it, not a problem. AK?
That's a
It was one superpower and we got 18 seconds left. Do people need more time?
I mean, maybe metaphors.
Okay.
Being able to
I
use
can
better
see
metaphors. Yeah.
government spending. I can see, sorry, government spending is
The government spending was
TD.
for the last one. Yeah, it was
Oh,
for the
sorry, I missed that. Okay. So AK, sorry, what was it you said, AK?
Metaphors. Using
Metaphors.
better. Yeah.
Powerful metaphors. That's great. Thank you so much. Oh, this is awesome. So we got metaphors, we got listening, two people with listening, contracting and presence, and all of these actually embody us as coaches, don't they? So thank you so much for the warm-up exercise. We're going to come back to the mirror board at some point later, but for now, let's switch to a bit of some presentation so that we can, put some of these thinking into our perspective. So I'm going to lose sight of people a little bit. Actually, I can do this. Yeah, I'm not going to lose sight of you. I will still see you, but not in full screen as I had before. So once again, I really, really thank you for giving me the opportunity to spend the evening amongst your good selves and, have the opportunity for us to share thoughts and ideas. Now, how many people here are not a coach? Who is not a coach here? Great, just what I thought. Everybody here is a coach. So everyone here probably would not hear anything new tonight, probably wouldn't hear anything different from what they've heard along their coaching journey. But what makes a difference to us as coaches is how we, re-energize ourselves and how we fine-tune and revitalize ourselves and add a little bit more to our armory so that we become better versions of ourselves as coaches. So one of the things that drives me personally as a coach are the core values, the ethics, and the competencies. And I call them VEC. And as an ICF coach, I've used the VEC model extensively. It's nothing new. It's all embedded and enshrined in what we learn in our coaching journey. But for me, fundamentally, they provide the very foundation of how I show up and practice as a coach. The values, I have a jacket that actually has values written on the back of it. But that's a joke. It's a virtual jacket. The ethics that I hold dearly, and then the competencies that I bring into play. Now, I don't like to make assumptions that everyone is familiar with the core values, the ethics, and the competencies. This isn't meant to be a lecture, but if anyone wants me to just spend about a minute or so, would you like to indicate so before I rush ahead and assume that everyone knows what we're talking about?
Femi, there's one person that said that they're not a coach, so maybe you can just.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So Adedeji Adeoti said they're not a coach, which is fine. So can I challenge you from this point onwards, Adedeji? You may not have a piece of paper that says you're a credentialed coach, but I would strongly implore you to actually change the perspective that when you hold conversations with people and you demonstrate some competencies that us coaches do, honestly, that makes you a coach. Active listening, powerful questioning, empathy, client first, coachee first. Those are the key things. But without wanting to spend far too much time on the values, ethics, and competencies, I might just want to mention very, very briefly that the ICF have, I think these are the updated values. So it used to be RICE, but the updated values for ICF are the professionalism that we demonstrate, the collaboration that enables us to commit to development of social connections and helps us to build communities. And then we have humanity. I think one of the things that came out from our mural exercise is how much we are people-focused, people first, and that is backed up by the data that we've generated this evening. So I'm really impressed that that came out. And the last value, the last of the core values for ICF is equity. Now, when we think about the environment, the global environment, the world has been built and based on a lot of inequity historically. But when we have organizations, reputable and integrity organizations such as ICF, they commit to use a coaching mindset, or rather they enable us to use a coaching mindset, which enables us to explore and understand the needs of others, which means that we're other people focused. And we do that so that we can practice an equitable process, not once, not twice, but all the time. And that process creates equality for us, for everyone. So for me, those are the fundamentals of ICF's core values. Now, ethics are equally powerful, and ethics actually covers about 4 or 5 pages. But what stands out for me with ethics is how ICF has actually broken down into separate segments. You have the introduction of ethics, and then you have some key definitions. And when you listen to those who drafted the ethics, they actually confirmed that they made it clear to everyone that we understand the taxonomy and the key definitions that have been imbibed, that have been included in the ethics, so that there's no turnaround to say, I didn't know what it meant. Okay, so those key definitions are very important for practicing and aspiring coaches to understand. Then the ICF core value and ethical principles. This time around, it's actually the principles. And then that takes us to the next section, which is the longest part of the code of ethics. There are 28 ethical standards. And through coaching and training, we get to understand those standards individually, but more importantly, we understand how to apply those standards. It's not something that we learn by rote. We don't memorize them. We bring them to life in our practice. Now, the final section in the code of ethics is this. It's now a pledge. As coaches, we are expected to pledge to uphold the code of ethics in everything we do, not just in our coaching practice, but in our everyday life. Okay, so those are values, those are ethics. Now, competencies, the last one. I think for most coach training, we spend a lot of our time going through competencies, which have been divided into 4 domains. So you got the foundation, which is domain A, then domain B is co-creating the relationship, domain C is communicating effectively, and domain D is cultivating learning and growth. Unfortunately, we do not have the time this evening to unpack all of these. Now, I believe there are some coach trainers amongst us, and I'm not selling anybody's business, but for those who might want to go on a coach training, get in touch with those who are offering training and get on a certification journey. It's absolutely worth it. Okay? Any questions before I move on to the next slide, please? Fantastic, thank you. So let's get moving on into the main conversation point for this evening, the value of coaching as a business in our environment. And my temptation all the time, makes me want to add global to environment. So in my mind, or in your mind, you might also want to just look at it, you know, as a global environment. So in a world that is constantly changing, constantly evolving, businesses are no exception. They're part of the environment. And one of the biggest challenges businesses encounter is how they quickly adapt, evolve, and cope with change. And it's even more difficult now. Organizations need to be more predictable about what's coming around the corner and be in a position to actually cope with that change when it arrives. Now, what is one single word, 7 letters, that has taken the world by storm since November of last year?
So can you repeat the question?
What is one single word
That's
that has
GPT.
ChatGPT? Thank you very much. It's taken the world by storm and it's actually revolutionized the world. And a lot of businesses have now come to realize that if they don't embrace what AI has to offer, extinction waits for them around the corner. So in today's competitive marketplace, businesses are constantly looking for ways to improve the bottom line, profitability, and stay ahead of the competition. Now, can I ask one question about that statement that I've just made? That they're looking for ways to improve their bottom line. The question is that all that businesses exist for? A yes or no will be nice.
No, not at all.
Okay. What is another thing that has happened in a few years that has, again, taken the world by storm? Again, these now we're looking for 2 letters. And they both start with this, sorry, 2 words, but they both start with the same letter. I should have warned you before that it's quiz night tonight, shouldn't I?
Can be COVID. Not COVID.
COVID is one word. It influences almost every country in the world.
The pandemic.
And something else. It's actually driving a lot of corporations, a lot of businesses to rethink how they operate.
Remote
climate change.
Oh.
Climate change is another earth-shattering, revolutionary situation that business have to contend with. Now companies can get fined if they don't comply with carbon footprint requirements. So again, stay with me, please, because we're building up this story, the value of coaching as a business in our environment. So we've talked about some of the challenges that, you know, in today's world we encounter. Now, coaching has become increasingly valuable. Now, need I say any more, but, you know, just look at the richness of our community, ICF Nigeria, to actually understand how valuable it is. But it's not just about the local chapters, and it's not just in the business world, but we're talking about society at large, the wider society. And why is coaching becoming increasingly valuable? And I'm sure most other people will look at it from the perspective of the ability of coaching to enhance individual and organizational performance. Okay, so in today's world, change is constant. And what do we mean when we talk about change? We look at socioeconomic change, we look at political change, we look at civil change all over the world. But if we bring it closer to home, we think about EndSARS as a driver for change. And we think about all the political machineries that exist in a lot of African countries that drive change. But I tell you what, most of these changes we have to go through in our environments are complex change. Organizations continue to face competition, but there's always a solution. Coaching offers significant benefits to businesses. But it's not just the businesses that benefit. The individuals who work in an organization, they also benefit. Now, as I mentioned earlier on, I come from an agile, well, even before agile, I used to be an accountant. I qualified as a chartered accountant many, many years ago. I worked in accountancy. I got bored of accountancy and tax, and I moved into project management. And from there, I moved into the world of agile. And from there, I moved into coaching and all that, what have you. And I was always inspired by someone by the name of John Kotter. How many people are familiar with John Kotter? Anyone heard the name? Yeah,
Yep.
Habiba, yeah.
Yeah.
So he came up with this change model. He called it the 8-step change model. Now, I don't want to bore people by reading what's on the screen. But there's a quote by Heraclitus, a Greek philosopher, and he advocated that change is the only constant. Change is the only thing that is constant. So rather than hear from me reading through John Kotter's 8 steps, we might come back to it in a minute or so. What I'd like to do, I'd like to just play this short video for us to just listen to a few things.
And welcome to Big Ideas Growing Minds.
Can everybody hear the audio, please?
Yes.
We are so
Yes.
happy you're here. Please consider subscribing to the channel. Your support means the world to us. And with that out of the way, let's begin the video. Today's big idea comes from Harvard Business School professor and renowned change expert, John P. Kotter. In this video, we will walk you through his 8-step change model as it is presented in his famous book, Leading Change. The 8-step process for leading change was cultivated from over 4 decades of Dr. Kotter's observations of countless leaders and organizations as they were trying to transform or execute their strategies. He identified and extracted the success factors and combined them into a methodology, the award-winning 8-step process for leading change. Step 1. Create a sense of urgency. You can't appeal to people with data and facts alone. You must also account for how people feel. This step is all about igniting the hearts and minds of your people. You have to identify, articulate, and communicate the need for change, rather than just a want for change. Compared with other steps in the change process, Phase 1 can sound easy. It isn't. And many companies fail already in this first phase. Often, failure occurs because senior management underestimates how hard it is to motivate people to change. Starting a transformation requires the accumulative cooperation of many individuals. Without motivation, people won't change. Step 2. Building a guiding coalition. A coalition is defined as a temporary alliance between 2 or more parties that come together to achieve a common goal. In Kotter's universe, the guiding coalition is a group of stakeholders that come together to enable the desired change. It can take many shapes, but must consist of members from multiple layers of the hierarchy, represent many functions, and receive information about the organization from all levels. The coalition can help you ensure there is support for change throughout the organization. Step 3. Form a strategic vision and initiatives. Most change initiatives are complex and complicated. For this reason, creating a powerful vision is a useful way of generating support from the whole organization. Always remember to complement your vision with strategic initiatives in the form of targeted and coordinated activities that will help make your vision a reality. Step 4. Enlist an army. Your vision needs to be thoroughly communicated throughout the organization. This step is all about soliciting a volunteer army, a sizable body of employees who are excited and able to take action on the strategic initiatives linked to your vision. Here is an excellent opportunity to utilize the guiding coalition, as between them they are likely to have networks in every area of the business. Step 5. Enable action by removing barriers. In order to remove barriers, you must identify them. Think about why past initiatives have failed. Did they get off to a good start? At what stage did they fail? Did they actually get completed but then just forgotten? Barriers can be commonly accepted statements that, while appearing helpful, can hinder the planned change. It can be statements like, "We tried to change before, it didn't work." Other common barriers include silos, financial targets, complacency, and regulations. Step 6. Generate short-term wins. Change processes often take a while before they reap any rewards. This can cause a decline in support if individuals think their efforts have been wasted. For this reason, it is important to demonstrate advantages of the change by creating short-term wins. A win is anything, big or small, that help you move towards your change opportunity. Collect, categorize, and communicate your wins as early and often as possible. Step 7. Sustain acceleration. Cotter argues that many change projects fail because victory is declared too early. It is important to sustain and cement the change long after it has been implemented, so keep setting goals for continued improvement. Step 8. Institute change. This step is all about sustaining the change in the long run. Simply changing the habits and processes of employees is not always enough to instill a culture change across the organization. The changes should become part of the core of your organization to have a lasting effect. Keeping senior stakeholders engaged and celebrating individuals who adopt the change will help cementing the change. And there you have it, Cotter's 8-step change management model. We hope you have enjoyed this video. If you did, please remember to give it a like. Take care and see you soon.
Okay, a bit longer than I thought. Just want to spend a brief moment capturing any observations or thoughts anyone has, any insights, anything that stands out for anyone. Anything to shout out about?
Yeah, maybe I just chip in here. I think I love the idea of getting people behind you who will buy into the vision you have for change, and using them as change agents within the organization, and not just getting them from one department, getting them from all over the organization to sort of be champions of change. That was really insightful.
Thank you very much. And what stands out for me is, in this instance, we've just used an organization as a reference model, a reference point. It could be society, it could be family. I mean, like I said, I've studied, I'm OSC trained, organizational relationship systems coaching, where the focus in OSC is more on relationships rather than processes. And these are all interchangeable. The 8-step process equally applies to us as humans, or to our small businesses, our coaching practices, our interrelationships with others. So we could easily just transpose what we've got there and apply those learnings. Is there anything else that stands out for anyone before we move on? No? So what I've got on this slide is just, I'm sorry.
No, Femi, just a thought. It's not so much about what stands out, because, the process is logical.
Sure.
What I wanted to say, the president is here, as in so chief, that I would love to see this applied in ICF as a chapter.
Wow.
And see how that turns out.
Wow, that is powerful. Wow. Our president.
Yes, sir. And yes, I mean, I totally agree. I mean, just similar to what even Gloria has says about, and about galvanizing people. And I love the use of the term, even like enlist an army. So you have to, in order to shift, you do need people. So it's not up to one person or one group. It's about getting a number of people who are really bought in, and we can all, thank you, Tosi, for putting me on the spot, but it is true. We have to, it's essential that we need to start taking the steps to shift. Yeah.
I mean, if I can also endorse that, what I'm hearing from the conversation that's come up from between both of you is, as an organization, we also have to embrace change. We shouldn't be static. We shouldn't rest on our laurels. No matter how great we are, we can aspire for greater heights.
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you. Okay, in the interest of time, I'll move on. Okay, so what I'd like to do next is we talk about challenges facing businesses or non-businesses in our environment. I've got some thoughts on my own, but I just want us to spend maybe another minute just grabbing one of these Post-it notes and putting some of the thoughts you might have about challenges in your context, in your environment, be it business, non-business. What is it that when you look at, you say, this is impossible? Let's go for 2 minutes. And the timer starts now. So if I can summon everyone, please, to this area, so you know where to put your sticky notes. So, challenges facing in our environment, literacy levels. Who would like me to type anything for them? You can call out and I would type for you. Challenges, power, integrity. So that's TD.
That's right. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you very much. Got that. Okay, who else would like me to type for them? Multiple taxes. Wow, that's would you like to just say 1 or 2 things on what you mean by multiple taxes, please?
Well, this is Samson, and I, in addition to being a coach, I also operate a hospitality business.
Okay.
Today they come with television tax, they come with consumption tax, they come with all kinds of taxes, local government and all that, and the state and all. So at times it's conflicting, and there's always a conflict over who has a jurisdiction over what. So this is what I mean.
Thank you very much for that. We've got security from Adara. Oh, where is it gone? Someone took it. Adara security. Who else have we got? Regulations. Wow, that's another massive one. Regulations. And that from ID. Bing bong. Thank you so much, everyone. I think we've covered everyone. So just looking at the things we've got listed here, we've got a wide range of ideas, literacy levels, regulation, security, multiple taxes, power, integrity, busy people overburdened, reluctance to volunteer or take responsibility. And I tell you what, the one that stands out the most for me and applies to me is the top one. talent leaving Nigeria in droves. Why am I living in a different country? I've been here for almost 40 years. And I wake up every morning, I keep thinking, when will I go back to Nigeria? And do you know what? I'm so happy that I belong to ICF Nigeria, because that now gives me motivation to be back in Nigeria to do what I have to do there. So I'll be joining you very soon. And I'm pretty sure you'll give me the best hospitality, Samson. Yeah? Yeah?
We will.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
I think what I would also like to say here is that there are a few people also coming back to Nigeria from outside the country. And I'm one of them as well.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
I can say that's the best decision I've taken. Thank you.
That's fantastic. Let me just add that to the list of sticky notes we've got there, returnees. But that's not really a challenge, is it? So I'll take that outside of the box because it's not a challenge, it's an opportunity. Okay, so let's move on. So I've just basically put together some of the learnings that I've, or the insights that I've gained through my research. So top among them, in no order, please, we got rapid technological advancements, changing customer expectations. Well, there has never been a time that customer expectations has been so dynamic. 1 minute customers expect to have this today, tomorrow they don't want it anymore. Within a short space of time, the customer expectation has varied and changed. And guess what? We have to cope with that. Global competition. Now, I'm going to ask one question, and I do not in any way mean to insult any country. But when you hear of global competition, what is the one country that comes to your mind and starts with a C?
China.
China. As soon as we talk about global competition, you hear China. But guess what? It's not even competition anymore. Because competition is when the playing field is level between two parties or more, and they can compete with each other. But China has an upper hand. But we have a solution to that, don't we? Let's carry on. Talent acquisition and retention. Again, we talk about talent leaving the country in their droves. Regulatory compliance. I'm pretty sure there was something about regulation in some of our sticky notes there. Sustainability and environmental concerns. We talk about climate change. And then you've got economic uncertainty. And then you've now also got supply chain distributions. Now, I know you have people at Dangote. You have a few other distributors who manage supply chain. It's a big challenge. Whether it's in the United States or whether it's in the UK or whether it's in Nigeria, supply chain distribution is a challenge. And my last final point is ethical considerations. Now, I said final, but it's not an exhaustive list. The list goes on and on and on, okay? So what's worth noticing is that these challenges faced by specific businesses will vary according to location, i.e. geographical location, the industry, the size, its demographic composition. But one thing that they all have in common is they need to have a degree of adaptability. They need to have a level of agility. They need to develop a proactive approach so that they can address these challenges, both in the short term, the medium term, and the long term. Now, I think this will be my last mural challenge for us. Let's now look at what are some of the things that can be done to solve problems. Now, I know that whatever we do, we're never going to solve all the problems, but we can start coming up with some brainstorming ideas that will lead us in the right direction. Samson said something earlier on, and maybe this is for me to actually put the returnees in this section. Oops, pardon me, I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, okay. Okay, yeah. So written is there. So if everyone's still on the mural, this will be the last exercise for the day. Trust me. If I can ask everyone, please, what we want to consider in this case is coaching provides several benefits that help business address some of the challenges we talked about. What do you think coaching is able to do, given the context of some of the problems that we talked about earlier on? Let's set 2 minutes for that. This will be the last mural activity. Ability to retain talent in Nigeria, fantastic. And that will lead to returnees, or it will stop people living in their droves. I'm monitoring the chat, so please keep it coming. If anybody wants me to type on their behalf. Okay, we've got giving young people confidence in their future, And that goes hand in hand. Retaining talent. I think that would be in the same category. Okay. Create opportunities for development. Bridging the gap between tech skills and management skills. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you. Got just a few seconds left, and then we're going to move on. Build resilience. Oh, great. Thank you. Communicate with all effectively. I'm just going to quickly type this. Thank you so much for that. So we've got quite a rich, diverse set of suggestions on how we can address these problems, you know, building better relationship in complex times, retaining talent, opportunity creation, resilience building, you know, confidence building, bridging the gap, and communicating effectively. Now, I happen to speak to organizations from time to time, and one thing that I always do is I look for a selling opportunity. When I go in and speak with organizations, they tell me all the problems, and I sit there listening. And one day someone said to me, Femi, you don't appear to be listening. We're telling you all our problems, and you're just sitting there not saying a word. Can anybody guess what I told them? Any thoughts on what I told them? Or you want me to share?
Please share.
Okay.
Please share. I was just going to say.
I simply told them, hire a coach. And that would be the solution to all the problems. And that is the truth of the matter. And that is one of the things that I wanted to get out of today's conversation. That, you know, hiring a coach is probably the starting point for organizations to start addressing their problems. Okay? So what are the benefits that coaches will bring? Some of them are listed here: increased productivity, improvement in decision-making, enhancing employee engagement, increased motivation, and improvement in customer services. But guess what? It's no different from what we got on the mural here. All these various ideas that we've got here are equally represented here, and even more here. You know, what value does it bring when we now hire a coach? You know, one thing that drives me to the point of actually want to get up and slap some chief executives, some CEOs, they always ask the question, how much is it going to cost you? Or them rather, not you. Oh, if I hire you, how much do I have to pay? And I look at them and the same thought always comes to my mind. Why do you always look at the cost and ignore the benefits? This is where we come in. We bring the benefits to organizations. We help them cope with change and manage change better. We get involved in leadership development, things like performance improvement, talent retention. Again, there's nothing I'm saying here that hasn't come out of everyone through our collaboration this evening. And that so inspires me to the extent that I now feel more energized that, yes, I'm in the right community. Emotional intelligence and well-being. And the list goes on. We have things such as, you know, some of the value that coaches bring to businesses in the global environment. Doesn't matter where we are. We have things like coaching for leadership programs, and we have leadership development, personal and professional development for people doing the work. Now, something happened recently in the organization where I coach, and they came up with this categorization of people. They categorize some people as the doers, some are the thinkers, and some are the watchers. And guess what? It actually doesn't land well when you categorize people into a bucket and call them doers and some people thinkers and watchers. But some organizations do so because they want to rationalize cost and get rid of people. But coming back to the aspect of cost. Oh, absolutely fantastic point from Tosin. How much will it cost them if they don't hire the coach? Their business may collapse just because they saved on maybe 2 million naira or 5 million naira or however much. Just because they don't want to spend that money, their business may collapse entirely. And it would now come back to haunt them that, wow, if only they spent the money wisely. So some of the other benefits, you know, we talk about entrepreneurship and business success. For the people who are actually employees in the organization, some of the benefits coaching brings to the business, things such as career transition and employment opportunities, performance improvement. Now, when I mention talent retention, it's amazing how many times we've heard of talent retention today. If we look at that, that seems to be a theme that has been coming up so many times today, whether it's retaining talent in the organization or retaining talent within the country, it still boils down to the same thing. So without wanting to spend too much time on these individual boxes, we have things such as skills development, goal achievement. Now, the one that is taking the world by storm is everyone is now conscious about psychological safety, wellness, emotional intelligence. In years past, they used to say, oh, shake it off, get on with it, just get on with it, get real, be a man, man up, that's what they used to say. But now, through coaching, people have come to realize that it's absolutely significant for us to recognize people for what they are and that their well-being matters a lot. Let's move on. Sorry, did someone have a question? Because I seem to be going very quickly now. Any questions, any comments, any thoughts? If not, let's move on. We're almost there. Now, let's look at it from a different perspective now. Coaching helps individuals and teams to reach their full potential, and it helps them to achieve their goals and objectives. Now, this is now going back to one of the ICF core values, that it is not about us as coaches. It's more about our coachees, be they individuals, be they organizations. When an organization succeeds or individuals succeed, I, as a coach, I feel valued. I measure myself through the progress of other people. So coaching helps individuals, and that's the value it brings to me as a coach in whichever environment. We help set and achieve goals. Now, setting goals is one thing. Achieving those goals are another thing. A lot of people don't realize that the power a coach brings lies in helping them achieve their own goals. And it's always a case of suck it and see. You've got to try it out before you realize how beneficial it is, helping them develop action plans and track progress. But not only that, we help them develop new skills. And these skills are very important for their progress, okay? Whether within their immediate organization or career opportunities elsewhere. And then the last point I've got on that particular slide here is about overcoming challenges, providing them with mentorship, support, guidance, and strategies. It's often the case that in a lot of organizations, people wear a mask. Now, can I ask an objective question, please? And I don't mean to put anybody on the spot. When we go to work in our respective environment, you don't have to show your face, but you can show your hand. Who wears a mask when they go to work? And I hope you know what I mean when I say wear a mask. Sochi, thank you. Who else? I put my hand up. I wear a mask when I go to work. Yeah. Because there are times that people have challenges. They have issues that need intervention, not from a psychotherapist point of view or a specialist intervention, but just by mere coaching. We are there to help, to guide, support, mentor, and help them formulate strategies that would enable them achieve their goals. And that is one of the value of coaches, one of the values that coaching brings to us, to an organization. Oh, thank you, Tosin. Sorry, I missed that. We all do. We all do. So several studies have been undertaken to support the hypothesis that coaching provides several benefits. And this helps improve performance, achieving goals, formulating corporate strategies. Now, I keep switching between individuals and organizations. The one thing that I like to make clear is that an organization is just a virtual entity. People in the organization make the organization what it is. So when a coach works for an organization, by default, it's working with the people in the organization. So, organizations look for ways to improve the business. And we need to look no further by making sure that organizations implement a very effective coaching program. And these coaching programs enable them to adapt to change, cope with various challenges and circumstances. It enables them to build stronger relationships. And with stronger relationships between the employees, between the managers and the customers, guess what? Everyone is happy. Now, when everyone is happy, the coach earns a fat check, because that's what we're there for, to earn big money. But employees feel satisfied and motivated. The organization delivers very valuable products. And guess what? The customers feel happy. But can I just ask one thing? When an organization is successful, how many times do they ever remember the coach who led them to that path of success? Anyone? Do they ever come back and recognize you to say, wow, thank you for such a wonderful job? Yeah, we got one okay. Yeah, Adeyanju, thank you. So coaching helps businesses to build stronger relationships, and it helps employees to communicate better, resolve conflicts more effectively, and work together more collaboratively. Now, I don't want to dwell too much on that aspect of conflict resolution, but how many times do we go into organizations or relationships or anything that involves human interaction, and there's conflict, and the conflict remains unresolved? What tends to happen in those situations? Anyone? Any thoughts from anyone? Unresolved conflict. It boils over. Thank you, Soshi. It boils over, and it just creates more and more problems, and the snowball effect takes place. So coaching comes in and helps, businesses by getting better with conflict resolution. So other benefits here, building a positive work environment, ensuring there's positive psychological safety, helping employees develop strengths and overcome their weaknesses. And guess what? The list goes on and on. Facilitating, accelerating and harnessing technological advancement. And we talked about ChatGPT earlier on, but it doesn't stop there. So ChatGPT has been around for a while. It just didn't have a name. But now we've got data and AI that has a name. And do you know what? A few months ago, people started to panic. I think even on our WhatsApp group, we were talking about AI and how potentially it could impact the coaching business. Now, we are aware of it, and we're doing everything we can to stay ahead of artificial intelligence. We're making sure that when machine learning tries to take over, when augmented reality comes in, when there's another thing called RLHF, reinforced learning from human feedback. Machines are now trying to do reinforced learning from human feedback. And the list goes on and on and on. So I'm coming to the end now. What must coaches do? Okay. What must coaches do, and what must businesses do? Now, when I get asked that question, I always come up with one simple answer. Hire a coach. That's what I always tell when I go in for, presentations. But it doesn't end there. Organizations need to actively look for ways to improve, to advance their business and propel their business. A coach who will guide them through the process of implementing change. And sometimes we help in designing coaching programs just with a viewpoint that they need to get better. So I'm going to round up now. Coaching supports leadership development and it enhances performance and what have you. But more importantly for organizations, by investing in coaching, businesses can unlock the full potential of their employees and drive organizational process. Now, this is the same in any environment that we go throughout the world. It's the same concept. Final thought, what is in it for coaches in our environment? Coaches help unlock potential, we help achieve goals, and we contribute towards the sustainable development in African countries. So all we need to do for people who are on their path towards coach advancement, just carry on with the journey. For those who have already been there and are being accredited, we need to continue the journey. Now, I'm a little bit selfish now. I'm now thinking about ICF Nigeria. We need more ACCs. We need more PCCs. We need more MCCs. I think we've still only got one MCC. Hopefully by this time next year, we should have maybe 3-4 MCCs. Let's get there. Let's get the ball rolling. And there, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to stop there so we can have time to answer maybe a few questions or debrief or, share some thoughts. So thank you so much for listening to me. It might have taken longer than I thought, but hey, here we are. Thank you. Maybe this is the point that we actually just encourage people to enable their cameras for just 1 or 2 minutes so that we can have that visual contact. Thank you. Oh, awesome. Thank you.
Wow.
It's nice to see everybody. Actually, I just wanted to check whether people had fallen asleep.
Thank you so
Or whether
much.
people were having their dinner. So, thoughts, questions, please. Or thought sharing.
Wonderful question. What a wonderful session. I don't know if anybody has any question for Femi, or if you want to drop it in the chat box. Okay, Abiba, I see your hand. Over to
Yeah,
you.
good evening, Femi.
Hello.
Very, very interesting. And I liked your pace. It felt slow, but it was moving at pace.
Thank you.
Very nice. So, I mean, the last slide, it seems like the value proposition is that we encourage our clients to establish internal coaching programs. Is that accurate?
Absolutely. Fantastic. That's the best way I can summarize this. It's one thing to hire a coach and come in and deliver. It's another thing to actually have a coaching program. The coaching program is the best way to ensure that we have continuity and we have, that pace that gets us to achieve those goals without having a false sense of assurance. I hope that answers your question, Habiba.
Yes, it does.
Thank you.
It's just something, I mean, I've done that for clients on demand, but it's never occurred to me to actually propose it. Yeah, so very interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Abiba. Any other person, any question? You want to share your thoughts?
Maybe I want to just bounce off what Habiba said. When you say internal coaching program, would that be they hired an internal coach? Would that be they develop their managers so that the managers become coaches? Or would that be getting an external coach who works with their managers, maybe on leadership development or any areas that they may be having challenges?
So here's the thing. Here's my thoughts. We're all in the business of creating value. Yeah. And value varies from one organization to another, from one context to another. It depends on the problems they have in the organization. Some problems are small problems that you can just go in there 1 month, 2 months, you've sorted them out. Now, I never advocate for a coach to be, I work as a permanent employee, and I keep waking up every moment that, is it time to leave? But I know it's not yet time. I will know when that time is up. Coaching is for us to go in there for a set period of time and address problems. And when those problems have been addressed, we know it's time to go. But obviously, we know that when we contract, we identify what good looks like to the client. How would you know when you've achieved your goals? How would you know that your problems have disappeared? So if a coaching program is what suits an organization to help them solve their problem, then that would be a recommended approach. It wouldn't be advisable to recommend a program for a small problem. Yeah. So, especially with large organizations, leadership is the biggest problem all over the world. Leaders, they are the ones who create problems for the people they are leading. And that's why I said to have a leadership program. Start with the leaders. Even John Cotter advocated that. Start with the leaders. Yeah, get the commitment and the buy-in of the leaders, and then enlist an army of volunteers to be the advocates and the pioneers and the ones driving the change. So all of these are best and most effectively delivered by having a structured program. And that program can be monitored and you can demonstrate progress. But again, if it's a small problem of maybe just one or two areas that need transitioning, then you don't need a massive program. Yeah. I would never advocate trying to oversell a product for a client because it's unethical. I hope that answers your question as well, AK.
Yes, it does. Thanks a lot, Femi.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Femi. I don't know if we have any other question. Time is fast spent, but I'm sure we can also reach out to Femi. Femi, is that okay?
Absolutely. I mean, by the way, I will make the slide deck available to my Dr. S. Dr. S, are you still there?
Because of the time difference.
Yeah, that's true. Time difference. We're not going to let anybody else know the arrangement between myself, Dr. S, so she, and who else was there? I think there were 4 of us.
Yetunde,
that's it. Yeah, we've already sorted ourselves out. Don't worry. Anyway, enough of me rambling on. It's been a wonderful evening for me. Chioma, you're there. I haven't heard your voice at all.
Okay, I've been on the go. And
on the go, thank you.
Security, and then you know how
fine.
Lagos
Thank
can
you.
be at this time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I feel so inspired to have shared a little bit of my knowledge this evening, and I hope we can continue with the collaboration and continue to grow as a coach, as a coaching community. Thank you.
Thank you, Femi. So I'm going to quickly hand over to Chioma just for a quick announcement, and that's going to be it for the day. Chioma.
Yes, I'm here. Thank you so much, Femi, for this evening. You have made it worth the while. Very interesting. I had a lot of takeaways from the session, and I'm also happy that you're going to, further share the slides with us. The icebreakers were on another level. I don't think I've come across this type of icebreakers before. And then for the participants, would like to thank you all for attending this session. And our desire is to make your membership most memorable. Our desire is to continue to add membership benefits to you in every and any way that we can. And if you have any questions or you need additional information or anything at all, I'm happy to serve. And I have reached out to a couple of people, and I have reminded them of, renewing their membership status. So if you're still having challenges with the membership renewals, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. We're here to support you every step of the way. Thank you so much for yielding the floor to me. Yetunde, I give it right back to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Chioma. Sochi?
No, nothing from me. Thank you very much for everybody who has taken out the time to be here. Thank you so much, Femi, for this session. I mean, I've written it in. Thank you for the thoughts and your insights. It was very informative. So I know that if I have some challenges with my internal coaching, building the internal coaching capacity in some organizations, because one of the challenges I've seen is that they want it, but then also is the follow through and the support long term. So if we'll see how I'll reach out to you also. And I'm sure all of us, if we have any struggles in that space, we'll do so.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for this time, and thank you everybody. Have a pleasant evening and enjoy the rest of your week. It's almost over. The week and the weekend. Yes.
Thank you.
Well done.